Welcome back to Alliance War. Season 37, War 5, for Loki is facing Space Force. Had a strong start, hoping we can continue. First up, we have this Longshot on 7A, the Conflictor node. We fought it before with Human Torch. We're going to fight it again with Human Torch. We placed the pre-fight so that we were dropping some Nova Flames on Longshot. Those don't trigger Conflictor. Then all we have to do is not parry. So let's speed this sucker up and get through the fight because it's a very simple torch fight as long as you use the pre-fight and you avoid parrying. Also want to avoid the special one, but I've talked about that before, so who cares? All right, next up we have a Conduit Defender. We have Terrax, and this is the single worst place for Terrax on the entire war map. If your alliance is placing Terrax on this node, 16, please talk to your officers and tell them to stop. It's stupid. And it's because of the interaction between the power gain of the node and Terrax's unique kit. He's going to be completely unable to throw a special this entire fight. And so as an easy Herc fight as you could possibly get, because you're just doing 4-hit combos, backing up and intercepting. You're going to use that to build up feats of strength, get your secondary burst damage from Hercules, and this fight is a complete and total joke. I make one mistake here. The AI gets a little fishy. He does a slow walk up, and then he's able to intercept me right there. So I take a little bit of damage. It's big because of the armor breaks, but it's Herc, and it doesn't care. I just go right back to the same methodology. Again, awful, awful placement for Terrax. Don't put him there, or if you're facing for Loki, feel free to put him there, okay? We're going to end this fight in style with the SP3, and boom, we're moving on. Next up, Node 23 is going to be in America Chavez. I already used my torch pre-fight on Longshot, so I had my buddy Rando, shout out Rando, give me a torch pre-fight here. He was also kind enough to give me some of the Mr. F stink eyes, just so that way I can make this fight a little bit easier. It's power focus 2, it's bubble shield. That just means I really don't want to push her to a special 2. I just want to play this very conservatively. Parry, 3-hit combos, medium, light, medium, parry, heavy, build some temperature, and just dex the into the special 1 there, and then punish it. Gonna throw my special 1 just to keep knocking her down to refresh the Mr. F debuffs. But this is a very easy fight. America Chavez was very difficult for me to fight when she first came out. And now I feel comfortable fighting her with almost anyone just because I'm going to copy pretty much the same technique of just pushing her the special 1 and then dexing it. So simple fight. Now we're going to be facing one of the new champs in the meta, the infamous Iron Man. It's a rank 4, and I'm going to be using Herc. This is a pretty easy Herc fight. It's actually would be better if I had Captain America Infinity War on the team. And the reason is because, as you can see here, infamous Iron Man's specials are passively unblockable if he has his armor up buff, which he did. In order to prevent the aura from triggering, just like on regular Doom, you would need to armor break them. For regular Doom, it's like Petrify or something like that. And with the synergy with Captain America Infinity War, you would get the armor breaks from Herc, but I don't have the luxury of that. So instead, I just got to Herc him to death. I popped an invulnerability boost just before this fight, expecting that I was going to get a hit with a special, and I did. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because Herc is just too much. And this version of Doom is nowhere near the Defender that the Mystic version is. I throw my special 3, gain the Indestructible, so that way I can tank his special 3. It's going to do me no damage. There's no deleterious effects like a stun effect like from a Kingpin special 3. So I just get right back up and start beating him back to the ground. The fight is only extended as long as it is because this version of Iron Man has, infamous Iron Man has this really long regen, which is annoying. So I'll just throw a second special 3, and that's more than enough to end this fight. So 4 fights up, 4 fights down. Now, the original plan was that I was going to stop at this point, at this Cersei, and wait for the boss to go down because Cersei's a conduit defender. But sometimes you got to change the plan. And so I'm fighting this while the boss is still up, and I'm going to be using Rintrah. And Rintrah is just a hard counter for Cersei. This is my first war fight with Rintrah. I think I've only used him a couple times in Battlegrounds, but I've been able to watch the videos that Vega's been putting out. I've been watching the videos that Karate Mike has been sitting in chat. And so getting a handle on him is pretty easy. You just want to back up the defender into the corner, into combo with a light, so you have the self-root, and throw your massive specials. Now, this is obviously ebb and flow intercept, so I'm being a little bit slower than I might ordinarily be, just because I want to get those intercepts, get off the protection shielding, and gain the fury. But now I've got her in the corner, and now I'm just going to just not even worry about her specials because of the kit when you've self-rooted them in the corner. Throw the special 3 to get around the conduit and just do some massive damage. Yeah, Rintrah is a friggin' beast. Battle Group 1 and 4 Loki, I feel like every dude has him at rank 4. In Battle Group 2, we have a few rank 4 Rintrahs, but we deployed them elsewhere in this map. So this is just like my baby junior rank 3, but he still kicks the ever-loving piss out of this Cersei, a champ who has given me fits with her specials for a while, but Rintrah just doesn't care. So next up, we have this Conduit Mordo. I debated between doing this fight with either Rintrah or with Herc. I decided to go with Herc because when in doubt, just Herc it. And because Mordo's Conduit, because the boss is still up, I just can't knock Mordo down. So I'm just going to do Herc things, get the intercepts, and just try to beat this Mordo down as much as I humanly can. I still had my invulnerability boost active from the preceding fight against Cersei, so I know that I can tank a special 3, and it's not going to be too much of an issue. So no damage from Mordo. Suck it, son. And then I just keep doing Herc things, just waiting for my opportunities in which to get my intercepts to remove the protection shielding and gain the fury, so that way I can continue to beat Mordo into the ground. Yeah. Pretty simple stuff. I mean, but that's what you do. When you're unsure about how to do a fight in war, just send Herc, and he'll figure out a way. Which is what we do later on in this war. Originally, I was scheduled to have 7 fights. I ended up taking 8 because there was one assignment that, in retrospect, may not have been the best, and we were a little unsure as to what to do. I mean, all 3 battle groups were a little unsure as what to do. We are trying 3 different champs in the 3 different battle groups to experiment to see which one works best, and I drew the Herc straw. So you'll see that fight. It's an interesting fight in a little minute. It's going to be Galan on 51. But now, after all that slowness and boringness with Mordo, he's down. 7th fight on 39 is another ebb and flow intercept. A Killmonger's here. Again, this would have been another node that would be ideal to have Captain America Infinity War on the team with Herc, just because of the armor breaks that Herc would be able to place on Killmonger every time he gains a feat of strength. But didn't have that luxury, so we'll just do it out, and we'll try to avoid as much reverb damage as we can, while also ending the fight as quickly as we can. I've taken some version of this fight, I don't know, 100 times with various different champions, from Omega to Herc to CGR. It's all pretty much the same. It's just being comfortable dexing Killmonger specials. So my invul ran out that I used for the Cersei and the Mordo fights. I'll pop another one on for this fight and for the Galan fight, just to make certain. But this is a nothing burger of a fight, and it's a pretty easy Herc fight. So that's the plan, is just do the usual Herc stuff and get down this Killmonger. Avoid the special 2. I was playing at Battlegrounds the other day, And Killmonger threw a special too, and I took it on the block, but because of all the prowess, it almost killed Herc. This one doesn't have the same nodes, so there's little to fear if you need to block a special. But this is common placement, you know, on Ebb and Flow Intercept. You see this, you see Nova, you see Rintrah, you see Rhino, Kitty. There's a few other common ones. So it's just about getting the rhythm of the fight down, and then it becomes pretty routine. All right, moving on to the other conflictor node, 50 on Mini Island. The one that's there is node 51. PWF, my boy, shout out, has already placed a White Needle Guidance pre-fight on this for me. That's the little diamond that you see up there. I'm going to heal Herc up to max strength. I've got on my big boost, and it's going to town. Now, I play this fight pretty irresponsibly and pretty dangerously. My goal in this fight is to do as much damage as I possibly can and then throw my special 3 to win it. I want him to throw special 1s when he's below 100 in planetary mass. And I accomplish it the first time, but then I push him to 100 planetary mass without realizing it. And on defense, when Galan reaches 100 planetary mass, then the harvest is triggered. And when the harvest triggers, he goes unstoppable. And so that happens to me once. And at the end of the fight, it happens to me again, and I'm just not paying attention. There, I just dash back a little bit too early. He catches me and punishes me. Here's the second time I trigger the harvest by going to 100. Immortality saves my butt here. And I am now at the point where I can throw the SP3, and this will end the fight. I should have thrown the SP3 sooner, but I was just slow on hitting the button, and it almost cost me. So yeah, 8 fights, 8 solos. That's it for this war. Take care. Have a good night.